So this regular season has not been ideal for LeBron and the Lakers, and is it possible that he is now no longer the best player in the NBA? So I think the candidates to overtake that would be Giannis, the two guys on Golden State, and I guess James Harden as well. But the weird thing about saying whether LeBron's the best, not the best in the league is, from a regular season standpoint, I don't think he's been the best player in the league for a while now. I mean, between Westbrook's carrying of the Thunder that one year, or Steph Curry having the best offensive season in a really long time, James Harden last year, Giannis and Harden this year. If we were just looking at regular seasons, then LeBron would have been out of this a while ago. But of course, the dude went God mode in the playoffs so many times. And because of how good he was in finals against the Warriors and all that, and going up against odds that any other basketball player, in my opinion, would just fold under, with facing them in, what was it, the first year when he didn't have Kevin Love and had Kyrie for like a half, and pushing them to a Game 6, putting them in a position to win Game 1 this previous year, also just that playoff run in general. I still don't know if anybody in the league could do that. Now, the counter to that is, well, LeBron just had the opportunity to do that again with this Lakers team, and it, of course, didn't happen, and it really never even had a chance of happening. They had, 20-something games left, and they just started losing pretty much right away. So I think it depends on how much blame do you put on LeBron for the Lakers not making the playoffs. Well, there are definitely some things to defend him. There are some things to criticize him for. If we can dive into those criticisms, they could be he's been dogging it on defense. Granted, he's been doing that for a while, but it's still not okay. There's also the fact that his attitude has been perhaps not ideal, where somebody will miss a shot and then he is clearly upset, and he'll either just make a face or he'll do some oh crap, I hate my life thing right now. And I mean, it's gone after 2 seconds, but you know it has an effect on everybody. And you compare that to Giannis, who is in running for the Defensive Player of the Year. While I don't think Paul George has a real shot at being the best player in the league, for this one particular season, he kind of has been. And, he's up for Defensive Player of the Year. James Harden, when his team was pushed to the brink, just went completely God mode. And, LeBron's team was in a kind of similar situation, and he was not dropping 40 points a game and all that. And sure, there can be reasons for that in terms of he wants to maintain his career past this season. I think that's fair. And I would probably have a similar mentality if I was 34 years old, but he still didn't get it done. And I think it's possible to where we can look at LeBron's situation and say, it's fair if you don't want to go until your legs fall off at 34 years old because you want to make sure the Lakers are a title contender or something next season, the year after that, and so on. But we can also say that also means you're not the best player in the league anymore if you're not able to just go balls to the wall whenever you want to. Now, there are some things to defend him with. Number one, he of course got injured, and if he doesn't get hurt, then there's a decent chance this Laker team makes the playoffs. There's also a decent chance they make it if their chemistry wasn't destroyed because of the Anthony Davis stuff. There's also a solid chance they make it if the roster was just put together a little better, in terms of Brook Lopez being re-signed, or just Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley, and these guys not being signed, and maybe they turn into a more respectable big, or just some more shooting. The front office had to catch up by trading for Muscala and Reggie Bullock after the fact. And I also believe that if the Lakers made it to the postseason, then they would have been really damn scary, because we've seen LeBron just go God mode in the playoffs so many times at this point that I think he still has that in him. But again, to go back to the idea that he can't bring it out whenever he wants to, I think you kind of need that in order to be the best player in the league. Like, I feel like if Giannis was put in the similar spot, which is the Bucks, for whatever reason, are clinging to not the playoff spot because they're in the East, but let's say they were in a situation where it was like maybe they'll get the 3 seed. This year's been a little disappointing, whatever. I feel like Giannis could just throw a 20-game stretch together where he averages like 37 points and 14 rebounds and is just a cheat code on defense. And I can't say the same thing for LeBron. Now, if LeBron was forced to do that in a Game 6 of a Round 2 series or the last like 3 or 4 games of a conference finals, then I think he could do that. But of course, that's not as long of a stretch of time and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you can throw into this, at least in my opinion. Now, with all of that said, do I think that he is undoubtedly not the best player in the league anymore? No. And the reason why I say that is because I want to see somebody else take the crown from him. Because while I believe that Giannis can have an otherworldly playoff run where he gets the Bucks to the finals and pushes the Warriors to a Game 6 or something, I have to see him actually do it. And once he's doing that, or even if it's not getting them to a Game 6, maybe it's just he plays amazingly, but similar to LeBron's situation, it's just his team is so overmatched that nothing he was going to do was actually going to affect the win-losses. But I still think that's fine, assuming that you do go God mode and have the equivalent of LeBron's 50-point performance in Game 1 and all that. So, I don't know, Giannis is just going to have to prove that. You know, if he's in a conference finals against the Raptors, is he going to solidify himself as being clearly better than Kawhi Leonard? I mean, I think the opportunity is there, but he's still got to make it happen. Similar thing for James Harden, or I guess the 2 guys in Golden State. I mean, of course, with Steph and KD, there's always the conversation of the team around them is so amazing that it makes their job a little easier and all that stuff. But, you know, you look at James Harden, maybe he erases all of the things that you can say about him in terms of getting tired and late conference finals series and that sort of thing. And maybe he pushes the Rockets over pretty much any team in the West and then pushes the Warriors to the brink of elimination. Then I think that could be the grounds for crowning him to be the best player in the league. I don't know. I think given LeBron's last 20-ish games of this regular season, I think it's definitely up for grabs, but it's going to be the responsibility of somebody to grab the thing and claim themselves to be the best player in the league. If we can be on like some Game of Thrones, Black Panther stuff, I guess. So that's pretty much where I'm at. And let's say if Giannis is great these playoffs, but the Bucks lose in like the conference finals and he's a little disappointing, still awesome, but you're thinking to yourself, man, I feel like Giannis could have done a little bit more there, then I don't know, I would be comfortable with saying that LeBron was still the best player in the league at that point. So that's what it is for me. We're just going to have to see how the playoffs turn out.